Trigger warning. This video deals with the shooting at Colorado, the death of George Hodgins, and ableist rhetoric against autistics. If these things disturb or trigger you, please stop this video now. Dear Joe Scarborough, on today's Morning Joe regarding the tragic shooting in Aurora, Colorado, you said, quote, "You have these people that are somewhere, I believe, probably on the autism scale. I don't know if that's the case here, but it happens more often than not. People that can walk around in society, that can function on college campuses, can even excel in college campuses, but are socially disconnected. I have a son who has Asperger's who is loved by everyone in his family and who is wonderful, but it is for those that may not have a loving family and a support group, and may be a bit further along on the autism spectrum. An extraordinarily frustrating, terrible challenge day in and day out. And so I do think, again, I don't know the specifics about this young man, but we see too many shooters in these type of tragedies bearing the same characteristics mentally." End quote. My name is Andy Voss. I, and many like me, have a problem with these words. I also have Asperger's, and am a proud member of the Autistic Self-Advocacy Network, which has issued a statement urging you to retract these words. I'm here to tell you, Mr. Scarborough, that we are not murderers. Thus far, James Holmes, the shooter, has not actually been diagnosed with autism to anyone's knowledge. Furthermore, in spite of incessant stereotypes that portray people with various psychiatric conditions as violent and uncontrollable, research shows us time and again that mental illness does not reliably predict whether or not someone will commit a violent crime. So I will have no truck with the idea that autistics that are more severe, which is more of a moral judgment than a diagnosis, are more likely to become violent. Nor do autistics who are high-functioning, again, more of a moral judgment, succeed at school or work just to hide their insatiable bloodlust. We succeed to survive, just like you. Because guess what happens when we don't have a loving family, a support group, and don't or can't pass for normal? Who are more likely to become the victims of violence, not its perpetrators? The more autism is demonized, and the more an autistic is seen as a burden or a threat, the less our society is willing to offer support, and the more likely the oppressors of autistic people are to get away with the unthinkable. Consider the case of George Hodgins, a 22-year-old autistic man from Sunnyvale, California, who was shot to death by his mother, who then shot herself. Unfortunately, not a unique case by any means. Until autistic voices spoke out about it, the media and the general public unanimously sided with the mother, the murderer of George Hodgins. Because as soon as it transpires that the victims of such murders are autistic or have another disability, too many people stop sympathizing with these victims. Because we are seen as tragedies, abominations, and wasted life instead of human. And when we are not seen as human, our brutal, untimely deaths are not seen as the tragedies they are. Because this is what happens when we beware the quiet ones. We ostracize, bully, subjugate, abuse, and kill them, all without remorse. For this reason, I come to detest violence more and more every day, Mr. Scarborough, whether its victims are my people or not. And its perpetrators are the only people on earth for whom I have no sympathy. Because I know myself and my people to be absolutely, irrevocably 100% human. I laugh, cry, and bleed like you. I feel pain like you. I mourn our nation's dead like you. Why? Because I have empathy, believe it or not. Because my friends and I reach out to the community of autistic people. Our people. We know each other to be human. We may not show emotion in precisely the way that neurotypicals are taught to expect, but we feel emotion. Far from reveling in the nation's sadness or ignoring the nation's sadness, we share the nation's sadness. Because I am not a murderer, Mr. Scarborough. My friends are not murderers, and your son is not a murderer. As someone as enormously influential as a newscaster, whose job description it is to purvey truth And as the loving father of an autistic son, it behooves you not to conflate us with murderers so carelessly, simply because we are what we are, because that hurts us all. It behooves you to fight such harmful rhetoric, beginning with your own. We all want to make sense of the tragedy at Aurora, Colorado. But idly casting blame on mental characteristics when autistics and other people with disabilities are already blamed for so much they have not done makes no sense at all. We cannot hope to explain violent tragedy if we ignore some of it and exaggerate the rest.